That is the truth of our being. That is the truth of God's reality. And that is what we are here to bring forth into manifestation in our world. You know, I have a wonderful friend who was the prayer chaplain here and a member here for many, many years. A real pillar of our community, Patricia Conti Nelson. And at the bottom of all of her emails, it says, whatever the question is, the answer is love. So it doesn't matter what the question is. It doesn't matter what the problem seems to be. It doesn't matter how great the conflict. It doesn't matter. The answer is always love. I had a wonderful interview this week with Paul Hebert, another pillar of our community who works a lot in community action and local politics. He's the president of the Barnstable Town Council. And he is an amazing, and he and Carolyn are an amazing couple who work tirelessly to help the homeless and feed the hungry. And I didn't know how many programs on the Cape started because of those two people. Two people that made a dedication and a decision to help others have touched thousands and thousands of lives and have given employment to a lot of people who work in human services. And so it was an amazing, wonderful interview. I invite you to go on our podcast, A World Powerfully Transformed, and check it out. So today, I would love to talk about our unlimited potential and how do we get in touch with that? How do we not only discover it, but make it manifest in our lives, our unlimited potential, knowing that we are not limited by anything. Nothing limits you except your own ideas, your own thoughts, your own reaction to what's going on. You are limited only by your own mind, your own beliefs. This is a very spiritual principle, but it's also very practical. It's a very practical principle. And I would love to make it as practical as possible for us because Unity practices practical Christianity. That's what Unity is discovering the teachings of Yeshua and putting them into practice. How do we do the greater works? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Discovering and manifesting our divine potential. So I believe human beings have just begun to scratch the surface. Don't you agree? We've just begun to scratch the surface of our true potential. In fact, our potential is unlimited. Yeshua said to his disciples in John 14, "Truly I say to you, he who believes in me, believes in the works that I'm doing, believes that I'm divine, believes that I'm a child of God, will also discover that they are a child of God, that they have the power, and greater things that I am doing will you do, because I'm getting out of here. I'm going to the Father. I'm going back to the source, dude. You guys stick around here and work it out. Greater things will you do." Now, if you look around our country and the world today, I think there are a lot greater things that we need to be doing. There is no lack of opportunity to step forth and do those things. There is no lack of opportunity to heal your neighbor and yourself. There's no lack of opportunity to bridge the divide between us. There's no lack of opportunity to end this sense of separation that we not only feel and believe in, but we perpetuate through violence against others. There is no lack of opportunity to be the Christ that you are, to stand up as Yeshua did and do those greater works and perform those miracles. However, in order to do those greater works, we must be acting from a different place, from divine guidance, from our unlimited potential and our acknowledgement of the Christ in us. And stop acting like we're little, separate, powerless limited human beings, because we're not. We're unlimited. And if we're unlimited in potential, then we are unlimited in reality. And we can bring that potential into manifestation. I know it's true because it's happening in my life. It's happening for me and for Lily. And together, as the Heberts have done in their life, Lily and I have made a decision. We made a decision, just like the Fillmores, that every part of our life will be dedicated to this work of bringing truth to humankind and seeing it manifest in your life. Everything that we have or expect to have is dedicated to that purpose, is dedicated to unity, is dedicated to a world powerfully transformed by the growing movement of our shared spiritual awakening. And so even if you just have one other person to share it with, share it. Share that spiritual awakening. And if you don't have that person to share it with, get a prayer partner from Unity on Cape Cod. We just had a great, amazing prayer partner training yesterday online. It was only 2 hours. We squeezed 3.5 hours into 2. It was beautiful. And some of you were there. And so if you were there, and even if you weren't, call us up, find a prayer partner. I sent out the email list of everybody who was there yesterday. Share your spiritual awakening with at least one other person, okay? On a regular basis, at least weekly. You know, I am blessed, Lily and I are blessed, as are the Heberts and as were the Fillmores, to have a partner who is dedicated to that spiritual awakening. And it doesn't matter, like, if the Fillmores were not married, they individually would still have been on that path. But the universe said, together, you're going to be more powerful. Same with the Heberts, the same with Lily and I. We're both dedicated to our awakening. That's why we found each other. Because together we'll be more powerful. So find your prayer partner and get with it, guys. Okay? Because we have an eternal quest as human beings. This is from Eric Butterworth. And he says in his book with very small printing, he says, the hope of mankind today lies in the great undiscovered depths within. That's where our hope lies. It doesn't lie in outside circumstances, situations, people, political parties, governments, societies, blah, blah. It doesn't lie in your outside gods or religions, anything out there. The hope of humankind lies where? In the great undiscovered depths within you. End of story. Now, we are so used to looking outside of us that we've forgotten how to look within. That's why he says those depths of being are still undiscovered. But I'm here to tell you that we've dedicated this place and this movement and ourselves and our relationship with one another to discovering the great power within, to discovering our unlimited potential and putting it into practice. And one of the best ways I've found to do that is through prayer. The search for power and purpose in life, that's been the great search of humankind. Perhaps we've been looking in the wrong place to find it. I think we need to look within. So how do we discover our divine potential? Okay, I'm setting this up in a way that it can be very simple for us. How do we discover our divine potential? Now, one way I have found is through prayer and recognition of the other person as divine. That's a wonderful place to start. We sit in a place where Spirit is speaking to us and through us. We wait and we allow Spirit to speak to any problem we have. What's the answer? Love is the answer. To any question we have, love is the answer. to any concern that we have. Love is the answer. So we let love do the talking. We don't let our fears do the talking. We don't let our judgments do the talking. We don't let our past do the talking. We don't let our social or political leanings, affiliations do the talking for us. We speak when Spirit speaks. That's it. I don't give advice. I don't counsel. I don't tell you things are going to be all right. I say, let's listen to Spirit. Let's listen to what love has to say. What would love do now? That's the question I ask. What would love do now? Not what would I do now to save my limited perspective? What would I do now to save my position in life? What would love do now is what I ask. Not what would Tony do now. What would love do now? Through Tony, as Tony. But Tony's got to get out of the way. That's really important, guys, because we've lifted up the personality and the ego to the status of God. Now we don't have a God. We don't have a spirit of love speaking to us because all we listen to is that ego, that voice that is always telling us lies. And if I'm judging their ego, I'm judging it with mine. The Spirit is really smart in that way. Because when you stop judging, you're free. You're free. It doesn't mean you don't work for justice and equality and harmony. It means you can work for those things without getting depressed, without getting distraught, without getting so angry that you can't move and go on anymore. It means you can work for those things with a peace in your heart and a centeredness to your being. I want to just tell a little story I'm going to tell on Paul because he came to do the interview with me, and it's all out on the internet anyway. After our interview, he's doing something very cool. He's helping the Baptists to resurrect that church over in Hyannis that's been abandoned for so long. Yeah, now Paul is a pillar of the unity community. And what better way to represent unity than to go out and to help someone whose religious beliefs are not yours? And to say, hey, we have the same source. We have the same God. So I'm going to help you out. I want to help you out. How can I help? So as a member of the council, as a member of the Council of Churches, he is working hard to help these guys to have their religious community and to resurrect that religious community. What an amazing example of unity. That we may believe different things, that we may have different viewpoints, but inside we have the same need. We have the same need to connect with God, to connect with love, and to be able to share that love with one another. So it doesn't matter what the words you use in that situation may be, it matters the love that you express and the vibration that you express. So I want to talk a little bit about how we discover our divine potential, and when we've discovered it and tapped into that unlimited potential, how do we express that unlimited power here on earth? How do we express that? I know everyone will express it differently, but I would say that stepping over the line of your judgment into another's world is a good way to start. To express that unlimited potential of God in you. It's just say, we're in this together. We are here together. Let's find our way back to love together. It may be that it looks different for you, but we all have really the same goal inside. And if it's not that goal, then I'm here to help you rediscover that love really is your goal. That you're never going to be happy hurting other people. You'll never, ever be happy winning that battle. Because what's going to happen? Your brothers and your sisters are not going to be with you anymore. So you eliminate all that part of the human family. What if you do eliminate all that part of the human family that you don't like? Now what? You're still stuck with yourself. And some of you don't want to be there. I know that I didn't want to be there. That's the beginning of your transformation, really, is you're stuck with yourself and you realize, wait a minute, I have unlimited potential. What am I doing here? What am I doing in this place of judgment and anger? This isn't what I want. And so at that moment, we are given an opportunity to express our God-given power through forgiveness and through acceptance of one another. And so, once we've discovered and activated this, how can we share this experience in a meaningful way? So, I want to approach these questions. I don't know if I'll answer them completely, but I want to address them one at a time, because they really do. Each of these questions do have, or I won't say they have an answer, but they point us in the right direction to where the answer can be experienced within our own soul, within our own heart. They point us inward, where Eric Butterworth asks us to go. So, yesterday we were doing our prayer chaplain, our prayer partner training. And I realized that I've done this a lot, but I'm discovering something new. If you want to discover something new, you're going to have to go someplace you've never been. It's really simple, but we are afraid to do that. We're afraid to step out of what we believe now. Go someplace you've never been. Okay, that's a good way to start to discover your unlimited potential. So we were also, in our prayer partner training, we read from the 5 principles a little bit about prayer. And I came across something in the second principle, and she entitles it right at the top of each page, "You are God." What you say is your reality. What you think is your reality. You are God. There's a divine spark within you. That's you. You are created by a loving source, so you must be part of that source. That's what you are. Do you guys get it at all? That if I plant a tomato, I'm going to get a tomato. I'm not going to get cucumbers. You were planted by a loving source we call God, so that's what you are. How could you be separate from that? Well, I'll make something unlike myself. I planted tomatoes and I actually got rabbits. They were eating the tomatoes. It's the human dilemma. But you can't create something unlike yourself. Okay, so we are seeds of God and we are planted in the soil of consciousness, and that's what we are meant to grow. God beings, God self. Come on, guys. What are you growing? What's in your garden of consciousness? That's what I want to know. Because that's where prayer happens. It's what we plant in the garden of our consciousness. So, our egos. This is by Ellen Davenport, by the way. This is from chapter 2 in the 5 Principles. She says, our egos are busy comparing us to everyone else and assuring us that we either come out on top or we come out on the bottom. We are either smugly superior or we are dismally lacking. That's what we do in our minds. We're in comparison. But what if it were possible for people to rise above such human travails and live effortlessly with an attitude of love and compassion for yourself and others? What if you could hold on to thoughts and feelings so positive that only good would be drawn into your life? Now, there are those, I see you, there are those of you here who are doing that. There's one right there. I'm doing that. Is anyone else doing that? Right there, there's one. There's another one. I'm holding on to thoughts and feelings and beliefs so positive that only good is drawn into my life. And if it seems challenging, I immediately look for the good in that situation because I know it's there. Immediately look for that good. So what if you could do that? Hold on to thoughts and feelings so positive that only good would be drawn into your life and into the world, so that the world you see out there reflects that good. That's what we are challenged to do now. You can't just do it for yourself and say, I'm doing great. You know, that poor guy over there got shot, but I'm doing great. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm not doing great. Not at all. When my neighbor gets gunned down, I'm not doing great at all. When my neighbor gets COVID and doesn't come home and his family is missing him, I'm not doing so good. But I do look for the good behind that situation. And when I find it, that's what I focus on. And I know that all of this is going on to wake us up and to bring us into a greater realization of our unlimited potential. We're not here just to heal ourselves. We need to heal each other. We need to heal the nation and the world. We need to heal from the idea that we are separate. God dwells in each and every one of us in the same amount as the other person. No more and no less. The only thing lacking is my awareness of it. So let's be a place where this awareness can come through. Let's go someplace we've never been before. How about that? Okay, so here we go. Here we go, guys. This is about God being in you. And you're holding on to thoughts and feelings so positive that you're drawing only good into your life. What if you could clear out the debris of all your past and all your fears and your fears of the future so thoroughly that Spirit could shine from within and light up the world? That is the point of spiritual growth. That is living from the Christ within. Making decisions from your higher self. Loving with unconditional and inexhaustible energy of the divine. Contributing to the well-being of the planet. It is to express effortlessly who we truly are. Living from the Christ Spirit within. We can do it. We know how to do it. If we're here today, we're being called to focus on doing it. To focus on keeping this Christ Spirit within alive. I'm going to go to affirmative prayer now because prayer is how we do it. Prayer and meditation. I've written a lot of things, but I'm on a roll of 35-minute messages lately. I'm trying to get it back to 20, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Do you believe in miracles? If I get back to 20 minutes, that'll be a miracle. I guarantee you that will be a huge miracle. So prayer and meditation are two of the ways that we do this, that we keep alive within us this constancy of positive thought and feeling. And so I'd just like to read a little bit, really quickly, from this chapter 4 about prayer. Because principle 4 in Unity, it redefines prayer as creative thinking. Prayer is creative thinking. I love it when the slide is exactly what I'm talking about. Another miracle. So prayer is creative thinking. It's going to heighten our connection with God mind and the activity of our mind synchronized with God. And so therefore it brings forth the healing and the wisdom and the power and the prosperity and everything good. Prayer is the environment where all that happens. And so that's how we're looking at prayer. Charles Fillmore said that prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known to humankind. He says mankind, but I changed the words to make it gender neutral. Known to humankind. It's a highly accelerated mind action. So you know your mind is powerful. What you want to do is accelerate the action of the Spirit manifesting through the substance of perfect love and divine law in your world. How you accelerate that action is through prayer. It steps up mental action until the mind is synchronized with the Christ mind. That's what I want. I want my mind to be synchronized with the Christ mind, so I'm no more acting from separate mind. I'm acting from whole mind, Christ mind, the mind that we share, the mind of love, the mind of God. That's what we want to be acting from. And when we look out into the world, we see a lot of people not acting from the Christ mind. Don't let that be the determination of where you act from. Don't let that determine which mind you act from. You can act from the Christ mind. And so we do it in prayer, through creative thinking. I love it. So back to Ellen Davenport here, just really quickly. Every possibility already exists in the quantum field. This is the universal yes. It says yes to your thoughts. It says yes to your words. It says yes to your vibration. Those are my words. And Ellen says we pull from the field of pure potential according to our vibrational focus. That's a wonderful idea, vibrational focus. This focus may come from the level of personality where we want all sorts of whimsical things, or from the soul, from our higher self, where our deepest desires and intentions are known. So we are pulling from the field of unlimited possibilities with our vibrational focus. That's it. The universe doesn't understand your words, but it understands your vibration. Where is your vibration? Where are you in your own heart and mind? It's very important to keep that synchronized with the Christ mind. We do it through prayer. It happens immediately. I call up my prayer partner on the phone, and immediately we're synchronized with the Christ mind. Now, it may take a little time. I don't know how long that time is, but when it happens, it happens. Pretty soon, it's your default mechanism. No matter what's going on, you go into prayer. You go into that vibrational focus. I think that's really super important to remember, that you have the ability to focus your vibration of being. So, in that, the process of affirmative prayer begins with a shift in consciousness. And then in words. Oh, isn't that incredible? We tend to think, if I just say these affirmations over and over again, it's going to happen. No. We have to shift our consciousness first. We have to shift our vibration. And then the words come. I love that. So we shift our consciousness, then the words come, and then we are praying from a consciousness of God, from the higher self that is in conscious contact with the divine. Now that is where I want to stop, right there. That we are praying not to God, but as God. Can you guys get this? I may end up with an empty room if I'm saying this, but I may end up with a full room too. I got to take that step. I've got to go into that place I've never been before. Because I can tell you with certainty that our praying to something out there has led us to where we are now. Look around the world. Are you satisfied with what's going on in our country? Are you satisfied with what's going on in our world? Then I'm not satisfied with how I have been relating to the divine. I've been relating to it like I'm limited. It might be unlimited, but I'm limited, and I've got to get on my knees and beg that unlimited God for some help down here. Instead of standing up and saying, no, that unlimited power lives in me, and I am going to bring it forth now. You had a healing, didn't you? You went to the hospital. They worked on you. You were afraid of cancer. What happened? No cancer. How do you like that? It works. Prayer works. John's mom was in the hospital just the other day, and we prayed for her. He comes dancing in the church this morning. My mom's home. She's on her way back. I've seen it over and over again, that when we shift our consciousness from praying to God to praying as God, we make things happen in our world. That unlimited power is always available to us. It's not like there are some times when God blesses you and sometimes when He condemns you. It's not like that. There's no being that is thinking like that except you, that has this judgment that you're going to be condemned and you're going to heaven. What is that? That's the mistake of human consciousness. And it's a terrible mistake, because what you're doing is judging yourself. You're judging yourself as less than divine and less than having the ability to tap into that unlimited potential, because it's in you, it's in your consciousness. If there's anything that Yeshua from Nazareth came to teach me, is that the power of the universe dwells in me and in my consciousness. That the Father, or the source of all, is what I am. The Father is in me. I am in the Father is in me, and guess what? I am in you. Too late. I just threw out those ideas. You can't get rid of them now. What did I tell you? God dwells in you. You're going to have to pray from the consciousness of God and not to God. That's affirmative prayer. That's what we're doing here. I am so grateful that this unlimited power dwells in me and that I can discover my unlimited potential. And so can you. I love you. Have a wonderful week. Be a blessing to all you meet. Namaste.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass., and visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.